Hey guys, Trevor Holt here. I've just got picked up some tracks for to install my fire ant machine on. Today's Tuesday, must be the 13th of January 2026, and one of the things I'm looking at trying to do is create improvement opportunities on the fire ant treatment alternative, Professor Joshua King's hot water treatment method that we're passionately calling FASO for fire ant soup operations. So currently we've got the machine installed on a trailer. We've got wet and dry reels, 50 metres of wet and 50 metres of extensions on each side on a dual lance operation to treat fire ants. One of the limiting factors with this setup is accessibility. Obviously we need to have a ute or a vehicle attached to a trailer to get it around the properties, which creates some accessibility issues in areas that are tight. So we're going to look at installing this machine on top of these tracks and swapping out this belt drive for hydraulic drive on that pump, on that water pump, so we can drive these hydraulic motors that are in behind these plates with the hydraulics using the same motor that we have for the water pump. So guys, it's important to understand that innovation comes from competitive commercial operations. It doesn't come from the bureaucratic offices of government departments. This scenario where we can treat fire ants without the use of toxic chemicals is required, not just for organic operations, but for those people who have objections, whether they be medical objections, lifestyle objections, or whatever objections to the chemical offerings by the National Fire Ant Eradication Program. So it's important to invest in these initiatives and to continue improvement opportunities on the configurations of this sort of arrangement, because people's fundamental human rights, private property rights, and individual choice to toxic chemical exposure is important. And currently the government departments are not putting enough weight on people's fundamental human rights. And quite disappointingly, the LNP state government are not governing to their documented values, which actually documents human rights as a big value of theirs. So they've been ignored. Entrepreneurship is another big value of theirs that's been ignored in this scenario, and less government and more entrepreneurship is what they actually state in their values, which is being ignored. At the moment we're getting extortion using threatening coercive behaviour from the National Fire Ant Eradication Program to force not just chemical treatment, but their specific chemical treatment onto private properties, often in areas without fire ants. So using this hot water treatment option for fire ants, which has got a lot of scientific evidence and trials based in America, but also Professor Nigel Andrew from Southern Cross University done a pilot here in Australia. This is an effective way to manage your property fire ant free with adequate surveillance this is able to do it, able to treat fire ants and eradicate them from private properties without the use of toxic chemicals. So having it installed on a self-propelled track system like this is going to create better accessibility to areas where access might be a little bit challenging with a large trailer and ute option there. So we're looking at hopefully in the coming weeks getting that sorted, so that can go out into the suppression zone and put more pressure on the LNP, Queensland State Government and the National Fire Ant Eradication Program to actually acknowledge entrepreneurship and the will of the people who don't want to be exposed to toxic chemicals for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter what the reason is. Lifestyle choices are valued here in Australia, and we need to do whatever we can to accommodate these sort of things. For my own personal experience, I do not want these toxic chemicals put on my private property. My cattle have had adverse impacts of them after being exposed to them for several years since 2019, and repeated excessive exposure to these toxic chemicals does create adverse effects. And I also do know if these chemicals end up in the waterways, which is generally where they end up, it has severe consequences on aquatic life, yabbies, fish, mussels, and all the biolife in my dam is evidence that that is true. I've seen it with my own eyes. So it doesn't matter how much spin the National Fire Ant Eradication Program talks about non-target species, it's safe and all the rest of it. It's not. Repeated excessive exposure to these toxic chemicals does create bioaccumulation, and any impacts into water creates severe consequence to aquatic life. So this alternative approach using hot water is certainly a way to mitigate these concerns. So anyway guys, that's what I'm up to. So hopefully we can get that done. If anyone wants to help contribute to configuring this machine on these tracks, obviously it's quite an expensive exercise, and any assistance is welcomed. AAG has got some strong membership at the moment through the Empower Organic program, which all the profits are going towards alternative fire ant treatments and setting up these. But obviously as much help as we can get would be beneficial. So if anyone wants to reach out, they can reach out and make an inquiry on how they can assist with the progress of all these initiatives that we're undertaking. Anyway, thanks guys, and have a great week. See ya, bye.